Hello everyone, Treecks here, and welcome back to Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. Welcome to part 17. We are going to get started by reigniting into Icy Speedway, and in here, it is time for us to start finding an orb mission. You may be wondering what we're doing here. We did get all of the gems already, and the skill points. Well, just like all of the other Speedway stages so far, there's one single orb mission to actually find here. This one, just like the previous one, a bit difficult to find. But other than that, we should have everything. Oh, it's 1:15. I was under the impression the time was actually 1:10. Got that wrong on my notes apparently. It was 1:15. But anyway, we still have it. And that's the most important thing. It is time for us to start looking for that orb mission. You may actually notice an igloo right over here. And if you take an even closer look at it, you will find there's actually somebody in here.
Good job, Spyro. Looks like you're ready for a more serious challenge. How about a little paragliding? You're not afraid of heights, are you?
Hi Hunter, how are you doing? It is time to do some paragliding.
Great! I'll tow you behind my snowmobile and you maneuver through the rings. Don't miss any or we'll have to start over.
Our mission, fly through the rings. Difficulty hard. But also difficulty fun. I remember this one from the first time. It's a simple mission where you can only move from left to right. There's no up or down movement in this minigame. It looks quite complicated at first, but you can only move from left to right. It can still be a bit confusing because he also moves around from left to right. And therefore, which way to approach these rings can be a tad confusing sometimes, and that's probably where the difficulty comes from in here. But I must admit, this is also really fun to do. Probably of all of the orb missions that we've done so far on the speedways, by far the most fun one, you might say. This one I definitely appreciate. I remember failing it a couple of times the first time through. Hopefully I'm able to do it first try now. Actually showing off that I've learned from my mistakes from the first time. And it looks like I do.
Way to go, Spyro. You're even better than I am.
I already knew I was better than you. What's so special about that? There is the orb mission. And the only orb of Icy Speedway. Just like always, for some reason we reignite into the stage. Completely unnecessary for that, but still. I kinda understand. There's always a timer in the stage. And if you go do the orb mission in between, the timer should actually reset. But however, you would have a different starting point and stuff like that. That wouldn't work, so I can still understand the reignition. But what I also understand is that this was the final thing we needed to do in Autumn Plains, excluding all of the things we were forced to skip, because of actually missing the final upgrade. There's one more move we need to learn in this game. And that we're going to learn similar to early on in Autumn Plains, early on in the third hub world. However, it is required for some of the things in the second hub world already. And therefore, only one thing remains for us. The hardest boss stage so far in Spyro.
Well done, Spyro. Now that you have all 14 talismans...
Oh, oops. What am I doing? Trigger happy A button. But anyway, you were able to read what you was about to say. Let's bring on Gulp.
You'll have to jump down the hole in the floor to get to where Ripto and Gulp are waiting. I can help you out a little bit. I tamed some pterodactyls from Skylos Badlands. They'll be dropping in objects that you can use to fight Gulp.
I didn't even know there were pterodactyls in Skylos Badlands. However, they are indeed going to be very vital for this fight. A fight that's going to be super difficult to do if you're also interested in skill points and achievements. Let's see how I'm able to do.
Gulp, we've finally made Avalar ours. You've earned a special reward. Gulp, what is it, boy? Oh, the fairy. Here you go. Oh! You singed my cape! Dragon, you are really starting to get on my nerves! Say goodbye, flame breath! Gulp! Lunchtime!
Say hello to Gulp. In my first playthrough of this game, I found out this guy is a serious business. Compared to all of the other boss fights we have done so far in Spyro 1 and 2, this guy is definitely a different story. Some of his attacks are really hard to avoid, really hard to predict. And yet our achievement is once again going to ask us to do this without any damage. And our skill points, of course. There's actually 2 skill points to earn, not just the no damage one, which we always have. There's also one where we need to hit Ripto during this fight. Allow me to actually focus on that first and not care about the boss fight itself. This is one of his attacks where he's just trying to launch at you. Oh, oops. You need to actually bump it into him. But this attack you can simply avoid by keep on running. Make sure not to run in his direction. Then you should always avoid it. Like this. Trust me, that's still the easiest of the attacks. What you need to do in order to hit him is try to use the pterodactyl eggs that drop. That actually become steel kegs. Those we need to use in order to hit him. And of course do it in the moment he's lowered his guard. Not when he's charging you. Because then you cannot hit him. Like this. Let's try this again.
Finish him off and you can have all the berries.
Back into the party again. Need to get used to how this guy works again. What this exact moment is you can actually hit him. Right, let's try it now. Now he's not paying attention. Now I'm able to hit him. And that's your timing window when it comes to hitting him. Alright, now this attack will actually launch orbs at you, but those are really difficult to avoid. Start off easy because he only shoots 2. And he will actually try to predict where you're going to end up. He will anticipate your movement, so be sure to always keep changing direction. Later on in the fight he's going to shoot a lot of them in a row. Those are really difficult to avoid. The moment he only shoots 2, you should still be fine. However, I'm actually trying to focus on Ripto first. For my first of the skill points. For that you actually need to wait until this rocket spear. Those you can actually swallow. Wait for you to get an opportunity and try to aim. And then actually shoot it at Ripto first. Skill point acquired. However, for the other skill point, and also for the achievement, because for the achievement we need to do this fight without using the enemy father. And if you don't get hit, you automatically also don't use the enemy father. So those actually come in one go. But we still need to reset, of course. Right, now let's go try this for a serious attempt. I know all of his attacks now, even all the way at the end. And the attacks become really difficult to avoid. I should actually have it now. I think I know the pattern in order to avoid his tricky moves. Especially... No, he hit himself! Nice one, Gulp. This warp attack definitely is the most difficult of all the attacks. Not per se in the beginning, all the way at the end. This indeed turns out to be my successful attempt. We're going to find out how difficult this attack indeed is. That makes 2. Next the rocket should appear. Now we don't have to focus on Ripto anymore. We can fully focus on you. Oh. There's a trick there. Here are my eggs. My rocket. Whoa, whoa. Fight always scares me. It's so difficult. Not per se to win, not having to do this no damage. Because of doing a skill point run here. Just beating this guy is not per se that difficult, but we're trying to beat him without getting damage. Here's another rocket. Probably the easiest way to hit him, simply you need to spit it out. Rockets are homing after all. Should be the final hit before he actually... Oh no, wait, he already shoots 4 now. Bomb. Stay away from it. Of course, you are able to hit yourself with those bombs, so be careful. Pterodactyls again. Zigzag, avoid these. Like I found out, still not a guarantee that you will if you do that. 2, 3, 4. Still 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Zig, zag, zig, zag. That way we should have this. Charge. Make sure he does not grab the bucket. Because of course he will also try to go for the power-ups if he can. You have not seen that happen yet, even in my failed attempts, but trust me, he will actually try to go for the rockets and the bombs himself as well, trying to hit you. And I can remember those are attacks that are really difficult to avoid as well. Don't give him the chance. Hit him with his bomb. Right. I've not gotten so far on this fight yet. 2 more hits. Yeah, now it's up to 6 of these orbs. You really need to know what you're doing by this point. Next rocket, easy hit, thank you. And another rocket, and I got unlucky. Yeah, if you're really fast, you are able to swallow up items before they get knocked out of existence again. If you have not noticed, every single hit he will do a shockwave, cleaning up the entire arena. But if you're fast enough, you can still pick up an item. And a steel keg. Oh, it would have been enough if I did not miss him. But there we still go. Skill point acquired. And therefore automatically also the achievement.
Spyro, you did it!
Whoa! Laura, where'd you come from?
I was just outside the castle in Autumn Plains. The castle is now free again. There's no sign of Ripto. And since you've been around, the creatures of Avalar are finally starting to get along. Since you've done so much for Avalar, and since I know you've really missed being on vacation, we really wanted to do something nice for you. It's not much, but we hope you like it.
Oh, wow, this is great. Aren't you gonna join me?
No. I'd like to, but I've got to go check on the professor in the winter tundra. He's still trying to fix the super portal so we can send you home.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I think I'll just hang out here for a while and soak up a few rays. Uh-huh. Hey, where'd Laura go? I better follow her.
Well, that relaxing didn't last for very long, now did it? And by the way, soaking up rays, you were not outside, you were inside. Does not work that way. But anyway, after a couple of tries, luckily it didn't take too long. I was expecting this to actually last a while, but in the end it was not as difficult as I remembered. Perhaps the fact that I knew what I was doing did help a bit this time around. Finding out how to do all of this the first time through, you can imagine this was pretty difficult for a Spyro boss. Only one more to do. Now that he's out of lackeys, we only have Ripto to do.
I think I've finally come up with a way to access the dragon worlds from the super portal. This power crystal should give us the extra boost that we need. Just a few more calculations to set it up. I think I have it. Excellent. Everything is finally ready. We're going to need a lot more orbs, but with the power crystal boosting it, the super portal should work again.
So, you thought you had gotten rid of me. Well, I'm afraid not. I persuaded that fat bear Moneybags to sell me a few bombs.
Quick, the power crystal!
Don't even try it, book boy, or you'll be the world's smartest pile of ashes. This is just what I need for a new scepter.
Hunter, do something, quick!
Hey, give that back! Well, I tried.
You little fools! After I destroy you all with my new scepter, I'm going to rename this place Riptonia!
And so he takes over the final world. It is time for us to enter Winter Tundra. Hub World number 3. And the final one. Let's go see how this game is going to end.
Spyro, Ripto's still alive, and he's locked us out of the castle. Even worse, he's stolen our new power crystal for the super portal.
Yeah, we noticed. We've also watched the cutscene. However, we are not interested in finding Ripto or doing any of the other stuff in Winter Tundra quite yet. Even though, as you can see, there's plenty of stuff to do yet again. The hardest of all the stages are going to be found here. The most complicated of all the stages. But more importantly, we can also find more gems and more money bags. And that more money bags is what we're interested in at first. We're going to find the final move this game can actually offer us. That one thing we were still missing from our moveset. And it looks like he's standing right over there. Let's go see what he has for us after making sure we've cleaned up all of the gems in this beginning area. Is there more? I don't see any, so let's go talk to you.
Well, Spyro, it comes down to this. There's only one more thing I can teach you. And like all the best things, it doesn't come cheap.
I did not expect it to come cheap, sir. I've brought plenty of gems. Your 1,000 gems is not going to stop me to learn Headbash.
The Headbash move is very simple, really. All you must do is jump and then press the action button.
We have learned to ground pound. A 3D platformer, or just a platformer in general, that does not have a ground pound is not a 3D platformer. This Headbash we can use for multiple things, like cleaning up the rocks in this area. Also open up this final type of container we've met a couple of times. Of course, also containing gems. When it comes to cleaning up rocks in this area, there's actually an achievement for that. Just like any stage. Of course, Winter Tundra also is going to have an achievement. However, we're going to focus on that later. Like I promised, there were a couple of things we still needed to do in Autumn Plains. We still have Fracture Hills and Shady Oasis to complete fully. Both of them required the Headbash before we were able to do so. Let's get started in Shady Oasis. I think of the two stages we need to do, this one can be done the quickest. I did try to stop my timer after all of the retries at Gulp, so I think we are at 17 minutes, probably a little bit less. I should still have time to do one more thing. And Shady Oasis, I think, can be done the quickest. That is not a long mission. There's also only one container we need to open up using this new move. Should be pretty easy to get this done in a handful of minutes, hopefully. See you folks after returning to the talisman area. Because of course that I'm not going to do again. At least not on video. Okay, we are here. Time for us to return to commentary, shall we? Or shall I, must I say. We need to drop down there in order to get the final orb mission. But first we're going to open up the container. This should give us the final couple of gems in the stage. And it does. Awesome, 400. Also make sure the portal is active, we're going to need the power up.
My 8 brothers have been trapped in rock and will sink if you can't break them free. Headbash the rocks by jumping and then pressing the action button. Follow my lead.
Petrified Hippos. Interesting concept.
Follow me. And remember, jump and then press the action button to Headbash.
Mission. Follow Grundy and bash her relatives out of the rock. Interesting how it actually trying to explain to us how to use the Headbash. As if Moneybags, the moment he taught it to us, did not actually explain us how to use it. But anyway, the mission is really simple, as you can see. A couple of hippos, petrified hippos, will fall into the poisonous water over here. And we get way too much time in order to save them. They will actually sink into the water at some point, but it takes really long. Giving you plenty of time. So this should be really easy.
Thanks for freeing us. All I have to give you is this thingy I found. At least it's not a rock.
Yeah, you can kind of see this is the tutorial to headbashing, you might say. The mission was far too easy. It's perhaps also the reason why the game refuses to give it difficulty. It's even easier than very easy. And that way we complete Shady Oasis quickly. Fracture Hills is going to require a bit more work. I think we are out of time now, especially since I need to do more cutting now. I think this is going to be good enough for now. We have beaten the second boss, the most difficult of all the bosses so far. Also stepped away from his arena with both of the skill points and the achievement, so I am already satisfied. It is time to actually move on to Winter Tundra in the next episode. After making sure we first complete Fracture Hills, of course. But no doubt we are also going to get started with Winter Tundra and perhaps even its first stage. See you folks in the next episode, and Treecks out.